When you're asked what is the scariest film you've ever seen, what would be your answer? Psycho, The Shining, Nosferatu, and The Thing would be typical answers among the normal crowd. But not me. To me, the absolute most disturbing film that I have ever watched isn't a horror movie at all, but a little documentary called Jesus Camp. The reason why I say this is because it gives awareness to the increasingly growing phenomenon of indoctrinating children to follow and promote the evangelical dogmatic agenda. It shows what future generations could very well be like. It's real, and it's extremely dangerous to the American way of life that was promised by the Founding Fathers and the Constitution. Most people would already claim that the USA is already a Christian nation, but they're wrong. It is only a Christian nation only by the merits of population. The truth is that we are an omnitheistic nation, where we have the right to worship or not worship in whatever religion we please. America was originally founded as a secular nation, which very clearly established the clause of separation of church and state. But over the years it has dwindled greatly, with God being included in our currency, our Pledge of Allegiance, and in some cases even our public schools. Even the American people have made having a strong Christian background required to run for office. On top of all that, these politicians and activists almost exclusively on the right wing want laws and regulations passed that are clearly motivated by the Bible and are aimed to benefit their group and their group only. They have already called for the repealing of separation of church and state, a constitutional amendment banning same-sex marriage, and a federal ban on abortion. They are making a serious effort to make their principles superior to any other. This is textbook definition fascism. Speaking of abortion, in my home state of Mississippi, there is a bill coming up right now that, if passed, would make abortion illegal in all cases, despite the fact that it violates a person's right to privacy and the law is clearly motivated by the religious right. The worst part is that this law will almost undoubtedly pass due to Mississippi being the most religious state in the nation, not thinking about the obvious more harm than good that the law is going to do. More so, when the law passes here, more states will follow suit, opening up a nasty can of worms for new religious laws to be passed, especially here in the southern states. This is extremely dangerous and goes above and beyond unconstitutional. The only hope that this law has of not getting passed is if the federal government intervenes and shoots the bill down. But this is more than likely not going to happen. Political pundits and activists at the far right may point the finger at any opposition and say that they are the fascists, but that simply isn't true. In fact, technically speaking, the left wing can't be fascist because they are more open to new opinions and are willing to discard traditional values. In closing, there are dark times ahead of us. With the presidential election coming up and seeing how there are more Christian voters than non-Christian voters, the land of the free could very well be on its way to being the land of the God-fearing that many of its people have already claimed it to be. It'll be the Dark Ages all over again unless people decide to stand up and protect the Constitution as it was written and intended to be instead of paraphrasing it to fit their agenda. Lastly, if there are any Christians or any religious people watching this video for that matter, let me just say, believe what you want, but just keep it out of our laws and government. It simply does not belong.